All right, we are live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We're going to have West Ham goalkeeper Daniel Jinadu, I believe is the proper pronunciation. In about 10 minutes or so, we're going to be talking about the mindset of a young professional handling academics and athletics at the exact same time. It's going to be a great topic, guys. We're really looking forward to this one. I think you guys are all really going to dig this one. Daniel's a rising up-and-comer in the game right now, so this is going to be a lot of fun. He's got his own podcast himself, too. So we will see you guys in a few minutes. Right now, I'm just going to be setting this up, sharing this stream out. Make sure you're putting your questions in the comments section, everybody. And see you in a bit. All right. Again, guys, in about 10 minutes or so, we will be starting. If you have questions, guys, put them in the comments section. This is going to be a good one. Starting in about 10 minutes. Share the link out with your friends, with the entire goalkeeping community. Maybe you'll be one of the lucky questions that's actually brought up on the stage. Well, virtual stage, that is. Two shows a week, Todd Hoffer, generally. Generally, 2 shows a week. Sometimes 1, depending on how crazy busy we are. But generally 2 shows a week. Generally Mondays and Wednesdays. Sometime between 12 to 2 Pacific Daylight Time. Every once in a while on a Thursday or a Tuesday. And obviously the podcast comes out every Friday. And you all know that. That's hilarious, Todd. That is funny. Yes, I'm having a complete conversation with Todd Hofford off the line. Hey, Pomo, nice to meet you, sir. Thanks for joining us from Twitch. Shout out to everybody who's been subscribing on the Twitch channel. Very, very cool. We'll be starting in about 7-8 minutes or so. No problem. No problem, Pomo. Nice to meet you regardless. We'll try to keep it slow for you. So we will try to keep it. Hello. Hello. We have a French speaker on right now on our new Twitch channel.
Oh, and enchanté.
We said we'd try to keep it slower for them. So we'll try not to talk crazy fast up front. Is that your Dodgers shirt?
It is.
Nice. I love it.
Has my name on the back.
Is that because you threw out a first pitch?
Yes.
How did it go?
It was 2 years ago, so it landed.
That's all you got to make sure is that you get it over the plate. That's really,
oh yeah, it went over the plate big time.
That's the most important thing.
I threw a nice high strike. I'm a little upset though. I want another shot because I'm like, why didn't I go on? They're like, you can go on a mound if you want, but everybody throws from in front of the mound, and I'm like, this is stupid. I should have thrown from the mound. Had I thrown from the mound, it would have been a low fastball.
See, because it would have been dropping from the mound. Because that
Mhm.
mound, I forget how big that mound is. It's insane how high that thing is.
Yeah, well, because gravity pulls the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like another shot at that. Dodgers, if you're listening, bring it on. Like, absolutely.
I feel like they could make that happen. Do you have Discord? I think I know what Discord is. I know Omar does. There's definitely a Pro GK Academy Discord. There's a Pro GK Academy everything, Mister.
Thanks. Joshua just said, "Nice jersey, Saskia." I'm like, look, Joshua, it says 99 on it, and it has my name on the back. Like,
I love it. I love it.
I know. I had to change it up a little.
You mean this right here? This right here?
Are we pulling it up?
We did. We just pulled it up.
Pulled up the video?
No. We just pulled up the remark by Josh. I wish we had the video. That'd be awesome.
It's
if
there.
You have it.
Where do I have? Hold on.
We would have to.
Then my favorite part was then they asked me to do that. Let's get ready for Dodgers baseball on the mic.
Yeah.
Which I was more comfortable doing than throwing the first pitch, even though I grew up playing hardball, grew up playing baseball. So like, there's a great story behind that whole thing that went down. But it was fun. I loved it. But like for some reason, everybody feels the necessity that when I told everybody I was throwing out the first pitch, to send me videos of people that like totally botched the first pitch. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's not cool, everybody. Like,
that's hilarious.
It was fun.
Oh my gosh.
So then I'm like, let's get ready for Dodgers baseball. I was like, they're like, do you do this? I'm like, I used to work nightclubs. Yes, I'm comfortable being a hype girl. That's okay.
I wish you'd gotten like a t-shirt cannon or something like that. That would have been amazing.
It was funny because they were warming me up, and so the third baseline back girl, I guess you call her back girl, but I don't think that's what she's called. She's actually an Olympic softball player, and for I can't remember what country. And so this the bat boy comes up and he goes, okay, this is how it's going to go. She's going to throw the ball back to me. I'll catch it and I'll hand it to you. And then you throw to her. And I'm like, you're not catching the ball for me. I'm like, he's like, but, and so I was catching, he goes, oh, okay, I get it.
Oh, looks like Daniel's here.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel, this is Saskia. I'm Michael. Nice to finally meet you, man.
Hi, nice to meet you guys.
I'm excited about this, man. I love when we see, man, when we catch up, and we'll talk about this when the show starts and everything, man. But like when we see young goalkeepers that are pursuing other careers outside of just the game as well, and doing things like podcasts, and it's awesome, man. And obviously, Saskia has a psych background as well too, so I think this is going to be really cool.
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
Yeah. We unfortunately, Omar, you know the life of a professional coach. He just got called into film review. 5-1 result this past weekend. Unfortunately, that leads to a lot of film review. So
yeah.
Those are the films you don't want to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Those are definitely the films.
But ones you need to.
Yeah, I mean, luckily at UCLA, you didn't have too many of those this year, Susk.
That's true. That's very true.
By the way, Daniel, feel free to talk anytime you want, man. Like, you don't have to wait for us to ask you a question or anything like that. It's not an interview. Like, we're just going to have a discussion and everything. It's really casual. Kind of like your show, which is pretty casual too. So
yeah, that's cool. Nice.
By the way, what's the proper pronunciation of your last name? Is it Jinadu?
Jinadu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jinadu. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure I got that before we started recording the show. You don't want to butcher that. Oh man. Hold on one second. I guess we'll get going in a second.
I'm looking for this video. I'm looking for the video for you. Hold on.
Oh, if you can pop that up, that'd be amazing.
I'll just send it to you.
Saskia has a video of her throwing out the first pitch at the Dodgers game. This is very, very important goalkeeping content.
Hey, you have to be able to do other sports.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Hold on, I'm gonna try to pull this up too here. Share screen. No, that's a Chrome tab.
I don't have it
Window.
in here.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
I will get it to you at some point.
Oh nope, this is for later. Ah,
Oh,
can't give
no.
away secrets. Can't give away your secrets. Can't give away secrets. All right, guys. We'll get started right now. Here we go. Hold on a second. Let me find the intro, and we'll get going. We're all fancy here. Welcome to Inside the 18. I'm Michael Majid, live from Hollywood, California once more. With me, you know her as the woman who threw out the first pitch at the LA Dodgers game.
2 years ago. I just like the shirt.
99 World Cup winner, Saskia Weber. Unfortunately, no Omar Zini, known as Pro GK Academy, because he's too busy living the professional goalkeeper coach life, which means film review after a training session, after a result. So that's always a lot of fun, as we talked about
I
earlier.
love that you said after a result.
Well, I'm not going to say what type of result.
I know,
you know,
I know.
I was going to be polite about it. Someone who knows about positive results, though, right now is our guest panelist today. We have West Ham goalkeeper Daniel Jinadu, if I pronounced it properly. Daniel,
Yeah,
what's up, man? Thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for the conversation we're about to have.
Definitely, man. I mean, one of the really cool things about yourself, is that you kind of came to my attention, last week when I think it was East London Sport. They did a whole piece on you, and they were talking about the fact that, you've been balancing, academics at the university along with a professional football career, and how rare that kind of is for a lot of young goalkeepers out there, So just kind of before we kind of go into today's topic and everything like that, why don't you tell us a little bit about like how you decided to pursue university at the same time?
Yeah, so it's always been like at the back of my mind, obviously, because I've always been good at school, to be honest. I've always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed school. So, but it all started like when I did psychology for GCSEs. So it was something that I really enjoyed back then. I found really interesting. So since then, I just stuck with it. I done it for A levels whilst I was a scholar at West Ham, and then I'm currently doing it as a psychology degree whilst I'm a professional footballer.
I mean, I love the way that you say, when I was a scholar at West Ham, it sounds so like I'm just picturing like just the level of academia at this institute. Very, very, very bougie. Bougie. I love the fact that you guys say university over there too, as well. It just sounds more prestigious than college. College just sounds like anyone can go to college, but not everybody can go to university.
University.
I mean, that was one of the really fun things about, having you on the show right here, because if you're not familiar with it, Saskia, she was a psych major. And obviously when she was at the university, she was
but if you say the university here, it means Miami. So when I was at Rutgers, let's just put it that way.
But it was another one of those really fascinating things, because obviously, here in the United States, college soccer is a big deal, and it's kind of, for lack of a better term, it's kind of like a minor league professional position here, and it's difficult, Susk. It's difficult to be a student athlete, really.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was all intents and purposes. I actually went in wanting to be an orthopedic surgeon. That lasted a semester, but with having to play at the same time, not just having to play with college, but with having to play with the national team. I was gone most of the spring, every semester, every year and stuff. So I really had to find something that I loved, that I could also kind of multitask and do both to the best of my abilities.
Yeah. Now, Daniel, this is obviously something that you were kind of, passionate about since you were younger, right? Like, sports psych was kind of, and it was kind of football that kind of brought you into the world of sports psych. You're like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, this is helping my game. I think I kind of want to help people with this one day.
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like it's because obviously like studying psychology for A levels for GCSEs and then just obviously my experiences from being a goalkeeper. Like when I was younger as a younger goalkeeper, when I was like 11, 12, growing up through the academy system and everything, I used to like really get frustrated after I used to concede goals or make mistakes, and like the way it would affect me psychologically, like I would get like upset and like that would affect my performance because I wouldn't be able to forget about that mistake. But obviously, just learning about sports psychology and how I can deal with it, so it's really improved my game, and like the importance of it is really important.
No, 100%. I mean, even when I was at Rutgers, and even with the national team, when I was at Rutgers, I saw our school sports psychologist. And then with the national team, we had a psychologist that traveled with us. So it's something that is definitely an important part of the game, not just for goalkeepers, but for all players across the board.
Yeah. You know, and Daniel, do you think like the fact, because like you obviously, you know, you came into the academy environment like later than a lot of young players. You know, I think it was you were an early teenager, right, before you finally made that environment. Like, was that kind of one of the things that like, oh my gosh, you know, the mental aspect of this compared to like, you know, playing, you know, youth level football, it was just a different level, right?
Yeah, that must have contributed, but I feel like it's just within myself as well, just the way I am. I'm kind of like a perfectionist. I like to have everything like perfect. Like I have a high standard. I have a high standard set for myself in everything I do. So that's what really affected me as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, that's such a really, really important thing, obviously, as a high-level goalkeeper. And obviously, like now with you doing the podcast and everything like that, and people who are out there who might not even be familiar with the fact that you're doing this podcast, and it's not just about, you know, the X's and O's of football. There's a lot of people doing that. I mean, you know, they can listen to Saskia and I, you know, break down somebody's plays for that. But, you know, you're really kind of getting into kind of like, you know, I don't know if the term translates over there across the pond, the meat and potatoes of, you know, what makes people tick. Why don't you kind of explain a little bit about Beyond Football, you know, so that people know about this?
Yeah, so the Beyond Football podcast was literally just created by me the aim is to just give people an insight into the journeys of professional footballers, of young professionals, because not many people know what we go through like behind the scenes, and people just think it's all an easy journey, like anyone can become a footballer and that. But I just like decided to obviously give a platform for young professionals like me, the people I've played with, my teammates, just to give people an insight into the journeys, the struggles, and the successes. It's also just a platform to just highlight the importance of having an identity beyond the game of football. Because I feel like a lot of my teammates, a lot of people within the football system, it's like we're in a bubble, so we're not really exposed to the real world. So it's just, and with like incidents where I know academy footballers have gone to the extent where football has been taken away from them, and they've gone to the extent of taking their lives because obviously they feel like there's nothing else, there's no hope for them. So I just created the podcast to just highlight and just talk with teammates and young professionals about the importance of having something outside of football and having an identity beyond the game, because if you let it consume you too much, when it's taken away, it can be quite a dark place, to be honest.
No, it 100% is. There's actually something called post-Olympic stress syndrome. And you can look at like, let's take Michael Phelps, for example. You look at athletes that have achieved a lot of success, and all you've done for the majority of your entire life is focus on this one thing. And when it's over, and it's over fast. And there's a huge amount of depression, substance abuse, unfortunately, yes, suicide, because, you know, it's not something that's been talked about or touched on. And it's something that's incredibly important to set athletes up for not only success after you retire, but understanding what's going to happen. And when you retire, or when let's say, God forbid, injury ends your career, or your career just ends. What do you do then? And you it's not just you that retires, unfortunately. Like your bubble retires, your parents retire, your significant other retires, and how it affects them and how that in turn affects you. It's a major issue. It's a major issue.
Literally, yeah.
I mean, I went through it. Still go through it.
I mean, I was honestly going to say, like, Daniel, you couldn't find a better person to chat about this with than
unstable Saskia.
I wasn't going to say unstable. I was going to say success story, Saskia. Like, you fought.
No, but
through
I fought through it. I still fight through it. It's something. I mean, the amount of years you put into becoming that.
Yeah.
Times that by 2. That's probably the amount of years it'll take to figure it out and deal with how to deal with when it's over.
And that's why obviously through some of the episodes I've done, we just highlight like what we try and go into what maybe can be done better in the academy system, like how we can maybe help players. Like I've spoken to people at West Ham, just how we can help players, like doing extra stuff, like just teaching, giving younger players the experience to learn more about the real world, so that they can have like a taste of what it's like being outside of that bubble and just doing stuff like other than football.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a really good point right there, Daniel, that you're putting up about there, because how many young players that you came up with, in the Chelsea system or now at West Ham and everything, said, oh, you know what, I'm just going to focus on this, and I've got no outside interest whatsoever, and they just become these footballing robots, they don't develop their personality as a human being.
Literally, that's it, man. And it's really obviously it's really sad to see, but just the football game, like just looking at the stats and everything, like as a young player, it's daunting. Like when you actually really deep it, like when you see the stats of players that make it to the Premier League, it's saying it's like 0.01%, and it's just crazy. Like I feel like it can be it's kind of like a facade for the younger generation, where they obviously everyone believes they can make it, but the reality of it is crazy. So obviously having that identity beyond football, which I'm trying to promote, is important.
Yeah, and when I look at it, like, and sorry, young footballers out there, again, it's 0.001%. And then, I think a lot of football players have, I'm going to retire, I'll be a commentator, or, this, that. First of all, that's less than 0.001% that get to do that. And then on top of that, not everybody's a coach. Not everybody wants to be. And so you fall in this conundrum of, well, what do I do? And trust me, I tried sitting behind a desk in a 9-to-5 job, and my legs were shaking, and I had to get up and like walk around the block a couple times. And I'm like, this is not for me. So you have to start early to figure that out. I look at success stories in my own personal life. I'll take a Ronnie Fair, for example. Ronnie Fair and Lori Fair. Lori Fair was on the 9-9 team with me. I played pro with Ronnie. Ronnie went to Stanford, her twin sister. Great player. She was in and out of the national team. She is the #1 orthopedic surgeon in the entire country right now. And First of all, talk about overachiever, but I love you, Ronnie. But I mean, you played pro soccer and now you're an orthopedic surgeon. That might be an extreme, but at least in her mindset, like she knew she had to set herself up for something else. Because again, not everybody can be Julie Foudy and go on to be a commentator and stuff like that. So it's really important that we start at a young age to set players up for success after their career's over.
Literally.
Yeah, Daniel, I got a question for you, because obviously, you kind of experienced the real world for the first time as a young player when you were released by Chelsea, right? And was that kind of like that first moment where you're like, oh my gosh, like what am I going to do if I don't find another contract?
Yeah, well, I don't know, because at that point, like I was already set on it. I've always been set on it, like through the influence of my parents. Like they know the importance of education, so I was already set. Like no matter what, I was thinking of like doing A levels, which is like the next level of education in the UK. Whilst I was a scholar, going to the next stage of my football, because obviously in school I'd done quite well. So for my GCSEs, I achieved quite good results. So I wasn't really trying to waste that, anyways. But that experience of getting released was actually like a reality check, where I was like, this football thing is actually difficult, and it's not all
it's not all bells and whistles. I think that I will say it's what I do like about the college system here. in America, and that especially for on the women's side, about how the college system is such a big soccer system. It is like, you know, young women aspire to go play for UCLA, you know, and instead of just automatically at 15 years old going into an academy and saying, I'm going to try to go pro before I'm even in college. And I think that because of that model, in a sense, it's just the way it is, it gives them something else. It gives them that, well, I have to do my studies. I have to go to school if I want to play. And it sets them up. I mean, I have players right now that one's a neuroscience major, you know, like, but that's amazing because, you know, do I think that she could go play pro? Absolutely. I think she could go play. Is she setting herself up for success after? Yes. You know, and I think I do like that about the college model because it takes a strong person at 15 years old to be in an academy, go pro, and say at the same time, I'm still going to do my studies.
Yeah, literally. It's because I know a lot of like at West Ham, whilst I was a scholar going to, because obviously how it worked was during my football day, my football schedule, I'd had to attend a school that was next to my training ground. So I'd have to put on my suit and tie, my smart work, and after training and go to attend my lessons. And that's all. Some of my teammates would make fun of me saying, "Oh, schoolboy, this and that." It's obviously it's easy to conform to obviously the mentality, or just to obviously focus on football. But the fact that I was doing something different, they didn't really see that I was setting myself up for the future. I knew that obviously, if anything, like God forbid, the injury or anything, I knew that I have something to fall back on in it. And not even to fall back on, but I feel like it was a release. It gave me an exit. It gave me just an insight into the real world and the wider world away from football, just doing my A-levels whilst I was a scholar.
But especially mentally, it gives you something else to focus on. And it teaches you how to like work your schedule, how to, you know, as much as it'd be easy to sit, you know, get out of your session and go and play, you know, FIFA or something, or whatever. As you get older, go to the pub. I don't know. But this, it kept you regimented, and it taught you. And for me as a coach, if I was a pro coach, knowing that this player has so much focus that they can put all they have into practice and put all they have into this is the kind of personality that I'd want on my team.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a really good point right there, Saskia, in regards to that, Daniel, is that obviously like now you're 18 years old, right? You're 18. 18, man. These kids we're having on this podcast, Saskia, just next level, next level. But you know, we're talking about how great you're doing academically. Like you're a top prospect. I mean, you're on the 23s at 18 years old at a Premier League club. There's not a lot of people in the world can say that, and it could be so easy to be like, oh, I'm so close. I'm so close now to that level, you know, that maybe I can slack off a little bit. But you've actually gone the opposite direction. You're like, no, I'm doubling down more on this because I want to get my degree while I'm playing in the Premier League. Right. I want to then end up in the medical field after I'm done playing in the Prem, you know, regardless of what the outcome is. Yeah,
that's the aim, because obviously, like, as you get older, the dropout rate and the releases of people dropping out of football it gets higher. So obviously it will be silly for me to obviously just throw it out of the bag. I might as well just go the whole way. And obviously, as we said before, it obviously still gives me that release. So, you know, as a footballer, people think that we don't have time to do all these things, but I feel like we do. Like, I have loads of time after I do training, maybe in the morning, I have my gym session in the afternoon. For the rest of the day, I have loads of time to obviously catch up on my uni work, do my online lectures, my online assessments and everything. So yeah, I feel like if I wasn't doing it, I'd be really bored. I'm not really the game type to be playing PlayStation for hours. So I feel like it's just a productive way to obviously just keep my brain ticking, to be honest.
You know, and you know, if you look at this year with the pandemic, I think it's a good example that is possible. When I'll just dumb it back down to college. When I look at our UCLA girls, they come off the field, they have to go to see the physio, they have to, you know, whether it's their rehab, whether they have their weight session and stuff, and then they're still in school full time. and they're doing their lectures, they're doing their tests, they're doing their exams, and everything. And they have to maintain a GPA to play, and they're doing it. So yeah, the time is there and it is possible, but it takes a certain type of person to do it.
Yeah, literally, because there's many times where I come home and you're just like, oh, you can't be bothered, like, oh, this again. But it's just obviously that discipline and determination.
Yeah.
So let's actually kind of move into kind of today's topic, guys, which is that kind of that mindset of a young professional. And I thought, what better person to have on than somebody who's studying sports psych, really understands the mental aspect of the game, how important it is, and the discipline of academics to talk about this. Daniel, I know one thing that you've talked about on your Beyond Football podcast is the fact that you focusing on your academics and specifically in the sports psych world has really helped you on the pitch.
Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, so obviously periods where I've been injured and I've focused on my studies, it's given me that release away from football. So it's giving me that release where I know that I can focus on something else. So instead of coming home from training, coming home from maybe my rehab, just dwelling on obviously maybe the situation where I can't play, I can't express all this emotion, it gives me something else I can focus on. So I'll be going home just focusing on how can I get the highest grade in my next exam? How can I do well in my psychology? How can I set myself up for my future and everything like that? So yeah, that's how it's helped me.
Oh no, I see that 100% because like most psychologists will tell you, when you're dealing with something like that, like a bad game or you have to compartmentalize that. You have to come home and you can focus on it for an hour. If you want to go over videos, if you want to go over in your head, and then by having another outlet, now you have to change that focus and you could go focus on your studies and you kind of put that away. And if you don't have that and you come home and you just go over it and over it and over it and over it, that's just a detriment to you as a player.
Literally.
I mean, I love the fact that you brought that up, Saskia, because I'll be honest with you, that's been something that's happened to me. To kind of give full transparency, is I had to do a medical redshirt my freshman year in college because I did something stupid, Daniel. I, at 5'8 1/4", tried to dunk a basketball on the playground. And it did not work out well for me because there was when I landed, there was an uneven surface. Uneven surface, yeah. So I fractured it in 3 places. I tore the ligaments.
Our goalkeeper at Rutgers, I was graduating. Our men's goalkeeper at Rutgers did that. He did a jump shot. He was on the basketball field, compound fracture.
Oh, yeah.
Landed wrong, boom. Because he had already had his shin split and everything.
But it made me recognize the fact, first of all, the fact that I am mortal too. That I can get hurt. These things can. I'd never really had a serious injury before. That was my first
Did you dunk it though?
No, I did not. That's the problem. If I had dunked it, it'd be a very different story. I'd be like, it was all worth it. It was all worth it.
I was about to say. I was like,
Daniel, you're a little bit taller than me. I don't know if you can dunk, but it's a pretty awesome feeling if you can dunk. So
yeah.
But I was going to say is that it was the opposite for me. My academics actually went down when I got injured because I didn't have the same motivation. When I was playing, I felt like I had this sort of discipline structure, and when I was away from the team environment, I started slacking off. So I think it's very easy to go the opposite direction when you're in a situation like that. I want to ask you about this because we talk about we've had people like Dan Abrahams, who's a sports psych, on the show before in the past, talking about the whole mental game. And obviously the IQ is so important as a goalkeeper. The GK IQ. As you've kind of been researching the sports psych world and everything like that, have you noticed you becoming a more intelligent player out there in regards to tactically?
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like, tactically, obviously in situations with the game, like goalkeeping is in a game where it's just literally your concentration, your focus, and just being able to control your general feelings and arousal during the game. So just studying psychology, different methods I could use. Obviously, that's improved me from obviously how I was before when I was younger, where I used to react to mistakes or conceding. It's helped me. So I've implemented different techniques, such as positive self-talk when I'm playing, like in training and in games, like, and just like deep breath, like breathing techniques, so I can like calm myself down and focus, so I can like achieve and then perform to a higher level.
And I'm glad you brought up that whole thing about the positive self-talk, because that's something that Saskia's been really, really, really big on how just, you know, whatever you're saying to yourself up here is you're basically going to translate that out. It's going to come out viscerally. It's going to come out of your body, you know? So you have to be very mindful of what you're saying to yourself. And, you know,
I think also about why are you saying it? Why, what do you like, let's say training, for instance, like for me, it's like, all right, you made a mistake in training. Now, are you having like, are you outwardly showing that? Why are you outwardly showing that? Are you that upset with yourself, or is it because you want everybody to know you knew you made the mistake? Like, you know, we know you made the mistake, like move on, you know, and we can go over, and I'm the typical coach that's like, look, we'll go over it later, brush it off. Like if you ever watch me from the sideline with Lauren, Lauren had a really hard time a lot. She was very negative self-talk, panic attacks and everything. We fit really well as goalkeeper coach and player since I've come in, because I'm not that kind of a coach. I'm not going to yell at you. Let it go. Like you'll see me on the sideline. I'm like, I need you to let it go. I don't want anybody seeing that you're upset, especially the other team. And we'll deal with it. Like, and it's not that it's not important, but we're not going to change it right now. But what we can change is how we react to it. And what we can change is how it affects us and how it affects everybody else around us outwardly. If your own team turns around, looks back and sees your head down, or sees you talking to yourself or pissed off or something, it's going to affect them as well. And I think that if you can consciously change that mentality and that mood and what you're putting out there, it'll affect you as well. You'll drop it and we'll move on from it. And it's worked for her. And I think, you know, but that's growing up. Unfortunately, it's growing up. Like kids do it, but we got to help walk them through it.
I think you know, one of the things that's really fascinating to me, Daniel, and you know, and I don't know, because I know you don't want to as a player overstep your bounds, you know, with your teammates, because there is that fine line. You're not on the coaching staff, you're not on the medical team, you know, but are there ever times where you're like, oh, you know, what I just learned today in class, like I kind of want to share this with this guy right here, but you know, but you have to be careful about how you do it, or do you just kind of leave it alone?
If it's obviously something I feel like it would help, I'll share it to them, maybe in the change room or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's really important what you said. There's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
You know, you can either help somebody or hurt somebody. You know, make it better, make it worse. So.
Yeah, I think I've just been so far removed from that playing aspect. Although I am making that comeback, we got to start training.
That's right.
I got to start making that comeback for Maccabi USA tryouts in July. But I think because you're so right about that. You know, there is that kind of that thread in regards to, and it's difficult, man, because I know what you're talking about in regards to, you know, people cracking the jokes about schoolboy this or whatever, because like
I bet they're wishing they were a schoolboy right now.
I loved it. I was just laughing at them. I was just saying to them, like, oh, if anything happens now, I know I wouldn't have to worry.
Yeah, exactly. Like
you're gonna be worrying.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, damn, I wish I was a schoolboy.
Yeah,
like, exactly.
And the thing is, I feel like I've spoken with a lot of boys, and when you actually see it, I can see it in their faces. They're like, oh, football has to work, because if not for football, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So it's literally like they know it in themselves, where like, oh, if football doesn't work out,
and that's a fear, and that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself, other than just playing. That's a lot of pressure.
I mean, honestly, like one of the most difficult things about that is, like, you know, we want to create positive, you know, successful members of society, whether they're playing on the pitch or whether they're outside of the game, you know, and if you're just putting all your eggs in one basket, whether it's football or any sport or acting or music or anything like that, and it doesn't work out, how else are you going to benefit society? You know, and that's one of the things that we have to look at. You know, thank God I was able to buy a microphone, because if I didn't, I'd have no other discernible life skills. I'm glad I'm glad I was able to find a microphone and start using that. Daniel, before we can get to some of these clips right here, I kind of want to ask you that just, is there anything like in regards to sports psych specifically that made you go, you know what, is it because you were an athlete that made you gravitate towards it? Okay.
I feel like it's just obviously my experience. So just the experience of what players go through behind the scenes. So, you know, like the experience of being a goalkeeper, not getting your opportunity, like what you do there. Like I've had situations like in my career where obviously you're not playing for a prolonged period of time, or maybe you're injured, or you're just experiencing just bad form, just stuff like that. I feel like obviously like my aim for the future is obviously to implement a more of like a system where players can have like a sports psychologist that they can talk to, because I feel like it's needed like in the future, like the younger generation, just to help their game, because I feel like there's been times where I might have needed that sports psychologist, or just that conversation with people, with someone who understands the journey and everything. So that might have helped me back then when I was feeling them type of ways.
Dude, I am so glad you brought up that thing about, you know, somebody who's kind of been through it, you know, and obviously, you know, Saskia, you know, you're in the coaching world right now, but, you know, having an understanding of the mental side too, you know, I think is so helpful, even as a coach, because, you know, you can kind of empathize with the player as opposed to just, you know, coming from concept.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been there. I've been through everything that I've watched my goalkeepers go through, like emotionally, on the field, off the field, everything. And having a understanding, like, yes, I'm glad I was a psych major, and understanding how to express that to players, how to be there for them without like being like a mom in a sense, like, but be supportive, let them understand you're there, let them know how to talk, know the right words, know, you know, from experience is huge. It's huge.
Yeah. All right, Daniel, we're gonna, whoop.
Oh.
So, was that your phone?
It wasn't mine. This time, it finally wasn't mine. It finally wasn't my phone.
Saskia's. Daniel, who could be calling you at 9:30 at night? Come on, shouldn't you be in bed, schoolboy?
Come on, schoolboy.
Oh, like you haven't heard that one before on the pitch. Come on. You know you've heard that one.
That was a good one, Mike.
Every once in a while, guys, check out Comedy in English every Tuesday, 12 noon Pacific, 8 p.m.
I knew
British
you were going to plug
time.
your comedy show.
I will be performing at KO Comedy this Saturday at 7 o'clock.
I'm
Pacific
sure he'll
Daylight.
use this one. He's got to rewrite his stand-up right now.
Oh, man. Daniel, what I want to do right with you, a little bit different than sometimes we do with some guests where we kind of break down their plays from a technical standpoint. I want to break them down a little bit from an emotional standpoint. And before we kind of get into that, there's obviously something that's been happening with you. And you know, there's a lot of players that kind of go through this whole process, is that you've played simultaneously with England's youth setup and Nigeria's, you know, youth setup. You know, and I don't want to get you in any trouble, so I'm not going to ask you to commit, you know, on the air, or who you're committing to or anything like that. But has that been something that, you know, understanding kind of like sports psychology has been beneficial for? Because going from two completely different international environments too has got to be stressful.
Yeah, most definitely. So just obviously the whole experience is like just adapting to the different playing styles. Is obviously going from England to Nigeria, that is completely different playing styles, the way they do things. So yeah, it was quite tough at first, but obviously as time went on, you get used to it and it gets easier.
How do you deal with, because this is more of a psych conversation today, how do you deal with, look, you play in England, so you know you're around most of those boys most of the time. Yeah. How do you deal with getting back to Nigeria? Is there animosity because you're rolling in to the national team and you're not there? Is it respect because, you know, you are playing in England for your club? But like, how has that reception been, and how do you deal with it?
I feel like obviously because you're coming from England, from a Premier League club, there is obviously a way they look at you in awe or differently. But over there, like I made some good friends and everything, but I really had to. I feel like it's anywhere where you go where you're new with football, you have to earn your stripes. So you have to obviously show that you're a good player. So obviously through training sessions, through the games I played, I showed that I'm a good player, and I feel like in football that's how you earn your respect. So
Absolutely.
that's when they respected me more. Once they've seen what I could do, and they were like, "Wow, like yeah." That's when they like to. When you get to know and you make more friends, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, it's funny because I went to Venezuela and I tried to play because I'm a dual national as well too, and I tried to play for Venezuela. And the experience that I had there, you know, was a lot of the players were going like, "Well, why are you here? I don't understand why you're here," and not in a disrespectful way. Is that like their whole aspiration has been to come to the United States? So why would I come here to try to represent Venezuela and everything like that? Did you experience anything like that? Like, well, why you live in England? Why are you down here playing with us?
No, I didn't actually really experience that, to be honest.
Okay, maybe they just didn't like me. So
yeah, it's probably maybe they didn't get your jokes.
I feel like I did experience the thing where obviously from other goalkeepers they're like, "Oh, like why are you here?" Like obviously, you know, when another goalkeeper comes, you don't want them to take your spot.
Right.
Obviously,
but that's no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, or all dual nationals. Look at us.
Yeah.
Although I didn't play for Holland.
Omar's a dual national.
Although
I tried to play for Mexico.
I didn't play for Holland. So
I mean, you could. They
mom
didn't have a program. They didn't have a program
yes,
back
did.
then. Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah, they weren't. They weren't as good as they are now.
They weren't in World Cup. They weren't in World Cup finals.
World Cup finals and winning Euro Cup. No, they weren't. But my mom wanted me to play for them, and I'm like, but why? I was like, it was different. I mean, I don't want to, you know, touch on a touchy subject or whatever, Daniel. But have you had pressure, you know, from your family to on either? Yeah.
Not really. I'm thankful, obviously, my family are open to what I want and everything, so they're really supportive whatever decision I would choose. Yeah. But obviously, because obviously I was born in Nigeria and my parents are from Nigeria, so they'll probably lean towards me playing for Nigeria.
Yeah, I was split down the middle there. So they just wanted me to play. There wasn't much of an argument. I was playing for the US. So it's like
yeah. I mean, you couldn't go.
I support Holland all the time. So.
Oh, I know. I remember the poster in the World Cup. You were quite.
I had both flags outside the house, and my World Cup champion tattoo is actually in Dutch.
Oh.
On my side, it was the only way I could get my mom to let me have it. So I was like, just a little side note.
All right. Well, when Daniel wins the World Cup, we'll have to, depending which country he chooses.
There you go.
All right. Let's dig into some of these clips right here. I'm going to pull this up here on the screen here. Can everybody see this right here? All right. Speaking of Nigeria here, we are talking. Let's see if this is this opening. Oh no, that's just a screen. Hold on. I thought I did this right. Gosh darn it. What the heck? Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay, beautiful. All right, fantastic. Now I am back. All right, can everybody see this now?
Yes.
Okay, why isn't this? Gosh darn it.
We can see it.
You can see it? Okay, but yeah, for some reason it's not playing on the thing here. Hold on. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to try. Let me try. Oh God. Okay. Well, let me just try doing this here.
He always talks.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, now I got it going. Okay. So this is Nigeria, Ecuador. Obviously, this is a second minute. This U17 World Cup, right? Is that what this is right now? Okay. Yep. And I think basically what happens right here in the play, we'll just play it kind of live first right here. Oh, I'm going to turn that volume down right there so we don't get FIFA to send us a copyright infringement thing. There's a shot from way outside. I mean, was that 30 out or so, something like that? And obviously, we've got a little bit of a higher position right here. And as that shot is hit, this is a great save with the top hand right there.
Little tip.
What
Just
happened? What happened to your defender over there? The one that fell down. Did anybody see? It's a great save, but my eyes got drawn away from the defender. Go back. I just want to know.
Okay, hold on.
Go back. Watch. Wait, go.
Okay.
See him on the ground?
Yeah.
I think he was trying to block the shot.
Wait, did he fall on the ground to try to block the shot?
Wait,
Oh,
I'm not sure.
He's a little far away.
Wait.
Oh, that's it.
In case he went low. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but that's a weird thing. That's like nowadays with the free kicks where people are just like going down on the ground. It
helps if you're wall jumps, else then you look stupid. Yeah, go ahead. It's a great save.
Fantastic save. From a technical standpoint, I've got no notes right here whatsoever, Daniel. I mean, just the little micro movements are fantastic. The steer of your body. I want to talk about you from the mental standpoint, though. It's 2-1. You're in the World Cup. You're in the U17 World Cup, and you're playing against a very good team in Ecuador. What are you thinking right now? And how do you deal with the situation like this from a mental standpoint?
Yeah, so I was just obviously trying to stay concentrated and just focused. Just make sure I don't obviously switch off in the game, so I'm ready. So obviously help us and make sure we don't concede making like a big save like this, so that we can come back and win. So you can see that I was kind of obviously frustrated. The goal, I think the first goal we conceded was literally like an unfortunate goal where the ball hit. I saved it, the ball hit the post, but then it came off my back. Obviously, using my psychology techniques, obviously I brush that away and just obviously focus on the rest of the game and everything. So,
but see, that's a great statement.
Thankfully, we're able to come back and win that game.
That's a great statement that you made. You use those techniques to brush that off. There are a lot of goalkeepers that wouldn't have brushed that off. And that being said, come this time in the game, would not have made that save. And because they're still, their head is still reeling, they're still, all messed up from the weird thing that happened, which by the way, we can't even train those, everybody. It's just stuff that happens. You tip the ball, it goes off the post, hits your head, hits your back, and goes in.
Your defender flies to the ground and tries to.
Yeah, there's so many people, there's so many goalkeepers out there that would be so bogged down in something like that they wouldn't be able to refocus and come up with a save in the 81st minute like that. A huge save.
Yeah. Do you feel like that save led to the momentum for you guys to get that result?
Well, on hindsight, yeah, I can say that.
Absolutely. Because absolutely, because now that motivates your team. That is like, oh man, no matter what happened to Daniel, we know we had that weird other goal, but he is on point. He just made that huge save, and that lifts your team. Your team's like, right on, let's go. And goalkeepers have to realize that. That's why I say, if you are down in the dumps, it shows. It affects your entire team. If you can refocus and make a huge save like that, that picks your team up.
Yeah.
I think, you just brought up a really good point right there, Saskia, because that body language, and as we've talked about a lot on this show, Daniel, we do a lot of sports psych try to talk on this show. We try to utilize Saskia as the best we can. So we all these amazing skill sets that she has on the show. And then Omar just rambles on for 5 minutes. So, everybody's got their skill sets. But is that, if they see you in that negative body language, like, oh, great, we're losing. There's only 8 minutes left to go in regulation, that they're going to feed off of that. But then when they see you still switched on, making a huge save like that, they go, you know what, if Daniel can give this next 8 minutes, then I can give, to pull this out.
I think I'm going to example. Who are we playing? Oh God, Lauren's gonna kill me. What was 1-1? Or were we down in regular season? And Lauren made a huge breakaway save in the last 10 minutes, huge breakaway save. And 2 minutes later, we went down and scored. And the energy of the team after that breakaway save was unbelievable. It was like if she's all in, if she's on point. It's not like, oh, there's 10 minutes left to go. She's so focused. She made a huge save. And we turned around, we went down and scored. And I think, one, because of that save, we won the game. But two, because her focus and her ability to lift the team changes the whole mentality of the team. Goalkeepers have to realize they have that power.
Oh, my gosh. We absolutely do. I mean, We absolutely do. And, I think sometimes, one of the things that comes up, with young goalkeepers, Daniel, is that if the play is not clean, we get frustrated, we get upset ourselves. Because like you said, we're perfectionists, but not every play is going to be clean. I want to play one right now. Let's see if I can add this to the stream right here. Can everybody see that here? Oh, no, this is the
same one.
Yeah, I put the wrong one. Oh, yeah, this is the one I wanted to put up. Okay, cool. So now I want to move on here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now this is Daniel. The he's like a superhero who plays for different teams. Nobody knows necessarily who he's going to play for from one game to another. Now he's with England. Now he's with England playing against Brazil. And I think what happens right here is I think it's a slipped ball in from the top of the 18. You come out fast approach, slow arrival. Which first off, at a young age, to have that patience. Yeah, Saskia, how many young goalkeepers fly out at that ball?
Don't even start with me. they would have kept running. They would still be running today.
So you hold position, the ball is hit, and you get just a little touch right there. And maybe it's not the cleanest touch because it's still kind of spilled in that box, but your immediate thought right there was get up, recovers position, ready to go right there. Right. I think this is so important for young goalkeepers to see this. Again, I think the sports psych background really helps you out here, man, because you're not freaking out. You're calm, you're patient. You probably breathed right here, and you're like, you know what? I have the angle. There's no reason for me to come out on this ball.
Yeah, and you're also not like, oh, I made a kick save, or oh, the ball's. It's like, nope, refocus. What do I have to do next? A save's a save. What do you have to do next? And a lot of, I think, young goalkeepers out there would be like, and the minute you take a slight hiccup and think about it, you're done.
It's too late.
It's too late. It's too late.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is just a perfect example right here, Daniel, of just, do what you can to be effective in the moment and then move on to the next play, right?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So
that brings back memories, that game. Good game. Made a couple good saves, and I assisted in that game as well.
You know what? I love that. But I love. Do you see that positivity? How many goalkeepers have we talked to be like, oh my God, I made the worst mistake in this game, or oh my God, I got beat top shelf in this game, or something like that. But for you to turn around,
I got beat. I got packed.
I know, but you didn't say that. But you didn't say that. You said, "Oh man, I made some great saves and I got an assist in this game." But how many goalkeepers would we talk to that first would start with, "Oh God, I gave up the worst goal in this game," or like we've interviewed people. I was like, "Oh, I made a kick. Like I should have done this on that ball. I should have done." You didn't even say that. You didn't even say that, and I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and and I think Daniel. I think another great thing too is from a mental standpoint.
We're just here to build you up, Daniel. Before any game, just get on the phone with us, and we'll just be like, yeah.
No, I love it, man.
Yeah, when you get that first prem start, just to call us up first and be like, hey, listen,
we'll pump you up.
You're amazing. Just keep it going. Once you get that when you get that EPL Golden Glove, you can just be like, look, it was all because I came on that podcast a couple of years ago. That's all.
Definitely.
The reason it happened. But no, from the mental standpoint, I know myself personally at your age, I would be like, oh, we're playing Brazil. And I would freak out in that moment. I'm 1v1 with a dude from Brazil, Now, obviously that's not why I never played at the level that Saskia did or yourself did. But there is something to be said for that, is that having confidence in yourself, having that, that inner, that self-talk of like, I can do this, is so massive. Speaking of that, I want to show the assist because this is awesome.
I love assists.
In my opinion. Oh my gosh.
I think that's one of the greatest moments of my career so far.
Let's see it.
Okay, so let's see if I can find it. All right, here's my music. Oh, here it is. Okay, so it's just a simple collection, right? It was just a simple collection. Yeah. And here's what I love, Saskia. He goes old school straight punt, no side volley here.
That's fine.
I was trying the side volley, but it was
in your way.
You went high.
Well, then you got to get around the ref.
So you come up to the top of the box here. You see route one. You see you've got the advantage. You got the numbers advantage up high, and why not? Why not go for it? And length of the field against Brazil for England, right to the 9, in for a goal. Just I mean, what? I mean, honestly, why did they not show you the end? They have to show you celebrating the fact that you made the assist. That's very disappointing to me.
That's disappointing.
Out.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's the deal. And we'll talk technical right now. Great decision making, because I was sitting here going really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They had what? 8 players in the box, I think. So, what's that mean? That means that your 9 is free up top, and that's the time to do it. Run up, take a shot at it, and you get an assist. And that's exactly when to do it, because their entire team is forward. So, great decision making. Yeah. I wish I would have seen the celebration. Great job. Yeah. Great job, Mike.
I mean, look, that wasn't my fault. That was the editing on Y Scout. Don't blame me.
I'm just kidding.
Oh boy, we're never going to get a Y Scout, sponsorship with that.
There
just
you go.
Totally just went.
Well, they'll know now to let it play through.
They'll let it play through. What was the celebration, Daniel? Was there a celebration?
No, the player just came over and came all the way back to me and just hugged me, and that it was great, man.
Look at that smile.
Have you ever scored a goal as a goalkeeper?
Not as a goalkeeper, but I've played outfield and I've scored.
Oh man, God! Everybody, have you scored a goal?
I scored a PK.
Oh,
okay. And I almost scored a goal off, but I got the assist. But to this day, me and my teammate Tammy Pierman fight about it all the time, because she tapped it in at the last second instead of letting it roll over the line. She's like, "It wasn't going in." I go, "It was going in." And I can't believe you. And to this day, 20 years later, we still argue about this.
That's amazing. All right, there's one more clip I want to pull up right here. Let's see if I can to get this back on the screen here. All right, and this is an example of textbook performance. So I think it's a corner kick right here. I think this against Brazil again.
Brazil.
Yeah, or is it a throw-in? It's a long throw. It's a long throw. It's kind of a mismatch up here at the top of the 18, and your team loses the ball, and it's a one-touch shot from the top. This dude comes in right now, bam, in traffic right here. You lose sight of the ball, but you're so composed and calm that you give just a nice positive steer away into the shape. But this is what I love about it right here, is the immediate movement is, did it go? Did it clear? Did it clear? Oh, it's clearing. Great. I'm still going to move into that space. You never know if it's going to go inbounds, stay inbounds, or out of bounds, or whatever. Again, a lot of young goalkeepers, when they lose sight of the ball on a one-touch hit from that kind of distance, freak out. But you're so clean and calm and composed. That's textbook, right?
You're so set. Your positioning's great. You're ready to go. You were set early before he even split second before he even struck the ball. Instead of, you see a lot of young players that'll still be moving. And not set yet. You're already in position. Strike, You're already in position. See, boom, boom, done.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Daniel, where'd you lose that ball? Did you lose it right kind of here, like when it kind of goes to when the player?
I think around there, literally.
Yeah.
So because in your own players, you lost it through your own players. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because otherwise you probably would have held that ball. Because I think it was because it was last minute decision. And honestly, I want a lot of young goalkeepers to see that too, right? Because hey, if you don't have a clear sight of it, and you lose it and you find it late, make sure you just play it into a good area. That's really what's important.
And it's that obviously that decision making, because I could obviously try and hold that, but just having that clear decision to parry it away.
But I think also body position with that. If you're setting late and you're late, then you're not getting that momentum to parry it into the proper position. You're kind of catching up to the speed of the ball. That ball might beat you, as opposed to being solid, and now you have a place forward and a way to parry the ball.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. Right
Look out! I'm going to be England's men's under-23 goalkeeper coach. Can you imagine?
Daniel he starts showing this podcast to a bunch of people. Hey, never say never. You never know. You never know what the world
world has, right? Yeah.
No, you never know. We never know what the world has in store. I never thought I'd meet somebody, at the highest levels of the professional game, who's pursuing a sports psych degree at the same time. So anything's possible, right, schoolboy? No.
I knew he was going to say that. I was like, he's going to say schoolboy. I'm waiting for it.
Daniel, as we kind of start wrapping up, and first off, now I know it's late for you. Do you have training in the morning? Do you have, or are you?
No, I'm currently on off season, so
they
just finished.
Oh, that's right. They just finished. That's right. They just.
Do you
finished.
have any national team duties coming up?
No, I don't have any.
Good. All right. Well, focus on your studies, young man.
I'm done for the year as well with university and everything.
Oh man, so you really got a summer like where you can relax.
Yeah,
relax now.
Just training.
Oh my gosh. Well, in that case, we could have done this later at night. Like, what else are you going to be doing? No, I'm kidding. But as we start wrapping up, Daniel, if there you can get any little specific advice for any, and I know you do this on your Beyond Football podcast all the time, and I want you to plug that show as well too, because I think it's really cool. And something that we didn't even touch about on the fact is, like, shout out for you on different representations on the podcast. It's not just, for lack of a better term, your traditional goalkeeper podcast, but you're showing people from all different walks of life. You're showing the women's game.
Yeah.
I loved the piece you did with Miles in regards to the lack of representation in goalkeeping on the men's side, specifically. Because that's something that's near and dear to our heart, and stereotypes and all that, and I think it's really important, especially from somebody like yourself who's playing in the game right now at that level, to be sharing this with these young goalkeepers so they know that you're going through it just like them. It's not. Yeah. It's So I think that's really important. What advice do you give to any young kind of upcoming players who are like, I'm having trouble with school. I'm having trouble with school because coaches are making me focus on football. Are there any like specific tips that you would give them that's helped you in the past?
I feel like you just have to be able to be. So if I feel like you can balance both, but you have to have good time management and just the quality of your work. So just being able to balance it both. So I feel like it's possible to obviously focus on football as your coach says, but you can also find time to obviously balance it with your education and just do the things you need to do so that you can stay on top of your work. So with me, there'll be times where I'd have to miss my lessons for A-levels or my psychology lessons. But what I do, if I have to miss my lessons for training, I'd have to contact my teacher or my tutor just to get the work emailed to me, and I have to obviously go after training in the evenings instead of playing PlayStation and that. It's just to catch up on the work and everything. So you just have to be, I feel like you just have to be, proactive with it. So just try and find ways to balance both and just stay on top of your work and football. But it's more than possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah. So we're gonna send that recording to all of Suskia's players so they can all hear it. All hear that.
Hey, I'm proud of them. We had 12 on academic All-Americans and Dean's
Did you
list.
really?
Oh yeah. These girls are wicked smart. So
man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish
super proud of them.
I wish I'd focused on my studies so I had more options other than holding a microphone. But this is it, guys. These are my skill sets right now: throwing a ball and holding a microphone.
And the world is better for it, Mike.
Oh, thank you, thank you, Susk. Daniel, if anybody wants to check out Beyond Football, where's the best place for them to check it out?
So you can check out on YouTube on my YouTube channel. So it's my name, Daniel Jinadu. And they can check out the Beyond Football podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just most podcast platforms. It's available. Just type in the Beyond Football podcast.
We need more young creators like yourself.
Absolutely.
who are doing it the right way. There's too many people your age, Daniel, who are putting out content that's I don't want to say trash, but there's no substance to it.
You just said it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want to say trash, and I just said trash.
That's literally the thing. Like when I was first obviously doing my YouTube and the podcast, there was obviously lack of role models or lack of people to look at that are actually doing stuff in football. So I wanted to fill that gap. I found the gap in the market. So that's the aim, just obviously to inspire, to raise awareness and just give people an insight.
I love it. No, it's so inspirational and it's awesome. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with TikTok and stuff, but there's a need out there for more substance and way to fill that void. Well done.
No, and go ahead, Doug.
So what I found a lot is that the substance, it doesn't really get the views the same as the, you know, stuff that doesn't have substance.
Welcome to we are well aware of that.
We are working on that right now, Daniel, as we speak. You will be seeing very shortly how we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that. We're about to change the game. We're about to change the game. Oh, by the way, speaking of us changing the game, shout out to Hannah Hampton. England's Hannah Hampton was voted by ESPN as one of the 21 under 21 in the world right now. Only 2 goalkeepers on that list, so shout out to Hannah for being on that list. So I guess, Susk, I don't know if she's eligible to play for UCLA.
I know.
Anymore. Guys, if you have a guest suggestion or a topic suggestion, at Goalkeeper Podcast on all social media platforms, or contact at Inside the 18. That's the number 18media.com. If you want to reach out to me directly, at Michael Majid. I'm not going to plug any comedy stuff because we got Saskia Weber here, and you can reach out to her at Saskia_Weber to find out more about her LA Dodgers, throwing out the first pitch experience. That's all the time on Inside the 18, and we are out later, guys. And here comes the out. All right.